What's up, guys? Welcome back to We Talk episode number 16, and today we got China's debt loans to small countries. Well, before we start, make sure you guys like the video, subscribe to the channel, help us grow and have a bigger impact, and let's go straight to the news. I just give you the straight facts as fast as possible, and I've been making the videos a little shorter. I got some crazy numbers for you guys. The first one we're gonna go through is Statista. Second, the country's most in debt to China. We got second, AP News, China's loans pushing world's poorest countries to brink of collapse. And number three, we got from NPR News, China is burdening poor countries with unsustainable debt. And just a recurring theme here. And the fourth one, last but not least, how a Chinese built highway drove Montenegro deep into debt. And that's from the BBC. So let's get to it. The first one we got is Statista, the country's most in debt to China. The New Silk Road project, which finances the construction of port, rail, and land infrastructure across the globe, has created much debt to China for participating countries. At the end of 2021, of the 98 countries from whom data was available, Pakistan 27.4 billion of external debt to China, Angola 22 billion, Ethiopia 7.4 billion, Kenya 7.4 billion, and Sri Lanka 7.2 billion. The countries with the biggest debt burdens in relative terms were Djibouti and Angola, followed by the Maldives and Laos, which opened a debt-laden railway line to China last year. The president of the World Bank, David Malpass, has called the level of debt many countries once again hold unsustainable. So that's the president of the World Bank. Like, if you're not taking his word for it, it's pretty crazy. So I got all these articles, right, in Statista, AP News, the NPR, BBC, and even Bing AI partner. You can ask for help, and this is going to be the chart you guys will see on screen. The countries most in debt to China. External debt to China has as a percentage of gross national income in 2021. So this is based on their income per year. Look at this, crazy. Wow, look at Mongolia, it's just red. Some other places are just like dark red, like Laos and shit and stuff like that. Wow, looks like Burma is also like getting crazy loans from there. That's crazy. And our second one is AP News. China's loans pushing world's poorest countries to brink of collapse. A dozen poor countries are facing economic instability and even collapse under the weight of hundreds of billions of dollars to foreign loans, much of them from the world's biggest and most unforgiving government lender, China. An Associated Press analysis of a dozen countries most indebted to China, including Pakistan, Kenya, Zambia, Laos, and Mongolia, found paying back the debt is consuming as an ever greater amount of the tax revenue needed to keep schools open, provide electricity, and pay for food and fuel. And it's draining foreign currency reserves these countries used to pay interest on these loans, leaving some with just months before the money is gone. Countries in AP's analysis had as much as 50% of the foreign loans from China, and most were devoting more than a third of government revenue to paying off foreign debt. Two of them, Zambia and Sri Lanka, have already gone into default, unable to make even interest payments on loans, financing the construction of ports, mines, and power plants. See what they're doing? Like, they're trying to portray like, oh, we're just trying to help with their infrastructure, help them grow and help them, succeed and everything. But they give you these loans were really hard to pay back. And not only that, they keep the loans kind of like in an NDA where you're not allowed to speak on it and you're not allowed to show the public the contract or the terms that they have in their contract. So no one knows what the terms are but the country's union, and they can't publicize them because, there's probably like some punishment or something like that to it. In Kenya, the government has held back paychecks to thousands of civil service workers to save cash to pay foreign loans. The president's chief economic advisor tweeted last month, "Salaries or default, take your pick." Damn. Since Sri Lanka defaulted a year ago, 500,000 industrial jobs have vanished. Inflation has pierced 50% more than half the population in many parts of the country has fallen into poverty. God damn. In the past, under such circumstances, big government lenders such as the US, Japan, and France would work out deals to forgive some debt, with each lender disclosing clearly what they were owed and what terms, so no one would feel cheated. But China didn't play by those rules. It refused at first to even join in multinational talks, negotiating separately with Zambia and insisting on confidentiality that barred the country from telling non-Chinese lenders terms of the loans and whether China had devised a way of muscling to the front of the repayment line. Inflation in Zambia has since soared 50%. Unemployment has hit a 17-year high, and the nation's currency, the kwacha, I don't know, has lost 30% of its value in just 7 months. Holy sheep. SpongeBob, holy crap. Wow. The United Nations estimate of Zambians not getting enough food has nearly tripled so far this year to 3.5 million. So 3.5 million people are starving to death because they can't pay these loans. Foreign cash reserves have dropped in 10 of the dozen countries in AP's analysis, down an average 25% in just a year. They have plunged more than 50% in Pakistan and the Republic of Congo. Hey, Congo, we did a video on them early in this channel. Without a bailout, several countries have only months left of foreign cash to pay for food, fuel, and other essential imports. Mongolia has 8 months left. Pakistan and Ethiopia has about 2 months. Damn. And here we're on the third one. We're trying to, rapid fire this, guys. We can get to the end. NPR, how a Chinese-built highway drove Montenegro deep into debt. Man, we already know where this is going. The Chinese state-owned company hasn't finished construction yet, so cars are using the old road underneath it. The highway hasn't been paid for yet either. The first installment of the $1 billion loan from a Chinese state bank is due in July, and it's unclear whether Montenegro, whose debt has climbed to more than 100% of its gross domestic product, which is GDP, due to the project, will be able to afford it. What's worse, says the country's former, like I'm not laughing at it's just a horrible situation. I'm laughing at that this Montenegro one is new. It's only, I think it's only happened last year or the year before. And I saw it on another video. I forgot who was the guy. That was maybe Business Basics. I don't know, but who exactly it was I saw it from. Well, I saw this whole video and it was just talking about how Montenegro is like collapsing in debt, and their payment is about as high as their GDP, their income. Like, you cannot pay something that you owe more money on the payment than you do on your income in your country. So yeah, that's crazy. And our final one is from BBC. China, is it burdening poor countries with unsustainable debt? I mean, by now you guys know the goddamn answer, but like, here's some more. Here's some more evidence, Your Honor. Its loans to lower and middle income countries have tripled over the past decade, reaching $170 billion by the end, $125 billion by the end of 2020. China's lending has been growing. Low and middle income countries' debt to China billions of US dollars. This is by US dollars. Look at this. This is crazy. Like starting from 2010, it looks like they only gave out about $40 billion to countries. And look at sub-Saharan Africa. It looks like them and South Asia are taking the most loans out of everybody. Mostly just Africa. Wow, man. Dude, this is such a big issue. This is like when someone is starving, they don't care the amount that they're asking for. They just want to get something at that moment, and they don't think about the future. And I think this is what China did. And another thing about Africa, they have a lot of minerals and they have a lot of rare resources, rare metals. So I'm pretty sure China's trying to use these debt schemes. So like if the country can't pay and they default, China would be like, oh, no problem, you can't pay. It's all right. It's all right. You don't pay. It's all right. We'll just take a cut in you give us certain resource for free. Like the lithium or cobalt, or like, the Congo. Congo is the main source of cobalt. They can do that with them. And Angola, another rare resource. And then here's some other ones as well with like lithium and man, there's so many. I can't think on top of my head because I have so much things going on, but you get the point. Is they're trying to figure out some type of way where they can get resources in return of not being able to pay your debt. And in Djibouti's case, if Djibouti doesn't pay, it doesn't matter because China has a giant port there now. They even have a deep water port, which is for submarines and other big navy ships. You know, they have a giant hull. So like that's pretty crazy. The United States doesn't even have a deep water port in Djibouti. Don't ask why I know this. So like this is pretty crazy. China's trying to do same thing with Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, since they defaulted on their payments, guess who owns their ports? Not all of them, obviously, but they own some ports now. China owns ports in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka, where is it located? South of India, right next door to India. So like they can put a bunch of intel gathering services there. They can just gather and intercept all kinds of messages from India and also spy on them. Same thing with Djibouti. They can spy on cargo and everything like that. They can do all kinds of stuff. They're trying to position themselves as the king of geopolitics in the world. And we know what happens when you become the king. You know, a lot of people pray on your downfall. So like, I don't know. I'm not sure if China is ready for that. And the way what they're doing in Africa, if all these African countries, if they start realizing, wow, man, these debt schemes are crazy. Like we can't pay this off. How are we gonna get away from this? There's going to be a lot of military from China in Africa in the next couple of years, few years, depends when these countries start revolting and the people start rebelling like, oh no, we don't want China to be encroaching. So we'll see. We'll see. That didn't go well for the United States and other countries, European countries who try to help the Middle East. And it's not going to go well for China, who is trying to help in Africa. But we also had schemes and we stopped doing the schemes because of this. And then now, since China doesn't have any experience in these schemes, they are doing the scheme in 2024, and it's not going to work. Back to the article. There are now more than 40 low and middle income countries, according to aid data, whose debt exposure to China lenders is more than 10% of the size of their annual economic output, GDP, as a result of the hidden debts. Djibouti, Laos, Zambia, and Kyrgyzstan have debts to China equivalent to at least 20% of their annual GDP. Much of the debt owed to China relates to large infrastructure projects like roads, railways, and ports, and also the mining and energy industry under President Xi Jinping's Belt and Road Initiative. What I tell you, like it's pretty crazy. One example often cited by critics of China is Sri Lanka, which years ago embarked on a massive port project in Hambantota with Chinese investment. But the billion-dollar project using loans and contractors from China became mired in controversy and struggled to prove viable, leaving Sri Lanka saddled with growing debts. Finally, in 2017, Sri Lanka agreed to give state-owned China merchants a controlling 70% stake in the port on a 99-year lease in return for further Chinese investment. God damn. God damn, man. Someone save them. Oh my God. Someone save them. Like, people get hyped with sports and stuff. Like I do too. I get hyped in sports, like boxing and stuff, for example. Like Vergil Ortiz, one of my favorite boxers right now. And I'm so happy he's back and active. And he just got a second first round knockout victory since he's been back. He's fighting tune-up fighters, but still, like, first round knockouts is pretty tough. And that gives me hype too, but like geopolitics gives me like hype. And this is crazy. China just pulled off the steal of a lifetime. Like, this is crazy. 70% stake port. Bro, basically owning the ports. All of them. Not a 99-year lease. Bro, that might as well be lifetime. Holy. And who knows? Like, they're look at this. This is the key word. In return for further Chinese investment. Further. So that means they're going to still need more money to complete projects. And that's what I noticed a lot about the Chinese projects and their Chinese construction companies. They suck. I heard that they do the most construction in the world, but they also do the crappiest construction in the world. There's a lot of buildings that they had to demo because they did measurements wrong in China. It's crazy. There's a ton of videos you guys can watch about their construction of their videos. And obviously this is the Sri Lanka people extremely pissed and rioting. Wow, man, that's tough. The biggest lenders globally aggregate external public debt billions of US dollars. This is by billions. Look how China is just smoking people, bro. Just smoking people. This is crazy. All right, these are my closing remarks for this episode, guys. The world is still suffering from the aftershocks of a pandemic allegedly caused by a certain country. Insert country name here. Now there is a new pandemic in the form of credit cards and loans with high interest rates. We went from losing family members to a pandemic scaled disease to now a financial pandemic across the world. Usually economic reasons are behind every major war started by another country. For example, Russia taking everything east of Zaporizhzhia to where it is proven almost all of Ukraine's oil and gas reserves are held, with China with Taiwan, and so on and so forth. There seems to be a pattern occurring with these outside looking in senseless wars. In my opinion, the United Nations isn't enough to stop world wars, and it seems like something more drastic is required. I don't have the answers, but we do need to find them soon. As a citizen of the US and a human partner of Mother Earth, we have to prevent World War III that every day seems more imminent. God damn, man, what an episode, right, guys? God damn. Drop a like for this video. This video is crazy. This video went popping. So yeah, guys, that's the end of this video. I hope you guys liked it. Please like this video, comment your thoughts down below, what country I should do next, other ideas, maybe just throw some things out there, and tell me what you like most about the video. And please subscribe to the channel, help us grow and have a bigger impact, and share this channel with your friends and family. Share this video with everyone you know that will benefit to this, or maybe just educate them a little bit on what's going on with China, why there's so many controversy, why is there so many problems with them, and why our culture is like at odds with them, kind of like you put two opposite sides of a magnet. That's how it's looking like right now. And instead of 69ing, we're 96ing. That's not good. All right, guys, this is your host Jose hitting escape. Peace.